What is up, you guys? It is Breyonna, and today we're going to be sitting down and testing out a collection I know a lot of you guys are as excited as I am about, and that is the brand new Animal Crossing x Colourpop collaboration. And let me tell you, when I saw this launch over on their Instagram page, like the previews of the collection, I died inside because it's just so cute and adorable and right up my alley. I just love the colors and the overall vibe. And also, I don't know about you guys, but I am Animal Crossing obsessed. Literally one of my all-time favorite games, and it just brings back a lot of childhood memories for me, and also it's kind of like my guilty pleasure. It's just like one of those games for me I love to chill with. You know, I like to play it right before I go to bed just to kind of like unwind from everything, or play it on a Sunday afternoon, you know, kind of like a lazy Sunday type of vibe. So this collection is fairly good size. So the first thing that I have is the bundle pack of the eyeshadow palettes, and with this collection they launched 4 eyeshadow palettes and they're all quads. I believe you can get them individually as well. But this first one we have is a purple little moment. It is called Label of the Ball. We also have this cute little pink one with Isabelle on it, and this one is called 5 Star Island. We also have this cute little neutral moment called What a Hoot. And then the last one, and the one that I'm like the most excited for, is this little green palette, and it is called Nook Ink. With this collection, we also have 2 pressed powder blushes, and you guys know how I feel about this product, one of my favorite things from Colourpop. We also have a Super Shock shadow that looks extra sparkly and super glittery. We have a Glitterly Obsessed that has the coolest gold packaging. And the last item that we have out of the collection is the Just a Hint Mini Duos. And this first one right here with the green packaging is called Pick of the Bunch. We also have this little like peachy orange moment, and this one is called Fruit Roots. And then the last one that we have has apples and cherries on it, and this one is called Fruit Basket. So before we test out the goodies in this collection, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on my Instagram page or my TikTok, it is at BreyonnaFaye as well. So off camera, I just pried my eyelids to save on some time, but the palette I want to go in with today is Nook Ink. Like, I don't know about you guys, but this one just looks really unique to me. Like, it's the one that really catches my eye out of the 4. But the first shade we are going to be going in with is the only matte in the palette, and this one is called Water Landing. Ooh, this color looks like it's going to be really dark, but I'm just going to be taking it on this Anastasia A10 blending brush, and I'm just going to be packing it on my lid in the outer third of my eye. And oh yeah, like, she is intense. Again, like, that is only a 1 dip. Like, wow, I was not expecting that. I was actually expecting to have a little bit more of a buildable formula. But she's like super pigmented. And what I'm going to do is take whatever's left on my brush and do these like little circular motions to blend it upwards towards my brow. Oh wow, like that is such a beautiful color. It's kind of like an emerald green in a way. I'm just going to apply a little bit more in this outer third and then blend it upwards. Again, you wouldn't even have to do 2 layers with this shadow, like it is really intense right away. Now I'm just going to do the exact same thing to the inner third of my lid, and I'm leaving the center blank. So again, I'm like packing it on my lid and then buffing it up into my crease. Doing these little circular motions. Again, I was just not expecting the shade to be as dark as it is. Again, I'm not mad, like I really like this kind of color. But I was expecting it to be a little bit lighter and a little bit more on the buildable side. But I just love how pigmented it is. And again, I'm just going to do a second layer just to really like amplify it. Even though I absolutely love this shade, I wouldn't necessarily call it a beginner-friendly one. Just because if you're not careful, it can give you a little bit of a harsh line situation. You can kind of see I piled it on a little bit too thick right in here, and it gave me some harsh lines. So just keep that in mind if you do decide to get this palette and you're not used to working with shades like this. So once you have that where you want it to be, now we're just going to go in with this shade right above it. It's kind of like a mid-tone mint color, and this one is called Made in the Shade. And then using this Anastasia A13 little shader brush, I'm just going to apply it right to the center of my lid. And when I'm doing this, I'm really like pressing it down. And also slightly overlapping it with that deeper shade that we just applied. And I'm also bringing it up into my crease as well. Again, like this shade is really, really pigmented. Like you wouldn't have to do 2 layers if you didn't want to. You know, I actually thought this shade was a shimmer shade, but it's really a matte with shimmer in it. So you could actually use this shade as a transition shade instead of what I did. So now we're going to be going in with the shimmer in the palette, and that is this beautiful kind of like minty blue shade, and it is called Yes Yes. And I'm just going to be taking it on a dampened little shader brush from Morphe. And I'm just going to be applying it to the center of my lid. Oh, she is intense. I mean, like, look at that. Like, extremely blinding. Like, man, like, that is a shimmer if I've ever seen one. And then I'm also going to kind of like take it up into my crease just a little bit with whatever is left on my brush. And then I'm slightly going over the edges of everything too, just to make sure we don't have any chunkiness, because I don't want like a stripe of shimmer down the center. I just cannot get over how pretty and sparkly it is, but I'm just going to go in with a little bit more, but apply just to the center of my lid. Oh yeah, so if you want it like extremely blinding, do 2 layers. And thank me later, because like, look at that. And then I'm just going to take that brush that we applied water landing with no additional product, and just kind of like fluff out the edges just a little bit. Because again, I do not want any chunkiness with this look. Now if you want, you could skip this step, because I know not everybody is into pressed glitter, but personally I really like glitter right now, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to go in with the pressed glitter out of the palette, and this one is called CEO. And I'm just going to be taking it on my finger. You can also use a brush. I just personally prefer to use my finger with pressed glitters. I find that I just get a little bit better of an application this way. But, ooh, she is pretty. It's like the perfect amount of sheen, and I love that it has like this minty hue to it. But I'm first applying it to the center of my lid, and then kind of like bringing it up into my crease just a little bit, where we have that lighter center. I'm actually going to go in with a second layer too, just to really like amplify it. Again, I like to start in the center of my lid, and then buff out the edges and work upwards. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think this look is turning out really cool. I wanted to do like a darker glam with a lot of shine and a lot of sparkle, and at the same time I didn't want to do a cut crease. Like, I just was not feeling a cut crease today, but I think this is really fun and kind of different. Since this collection is so large, I want to do a different video per eyeshadow palette, because I want to give you guys more inspiration with them, and I know not everybody is going to get the full-on bundle. At first I was kind of like thinking I would wipe off the makeup in between and then go in with the next eyeshadow palette, but honestly I want to share with you guys how I pair the blushes and the Just a Tint as well as the other products in this collection, and I feel like if I wiped it off in between each time I wouldn't be able to do it as well. And also, I don't want this video to be like 45 minutes long. Like, I think it would just be like way too long and a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're not interested in like the full shebang shaboom. But I will be doing all the swatches in this video today, because it is my first video using this collection. But with that said though, off camera I am gonna like clean things up a little bit. I'm going to apply like liner, lashes, my complexion products, all of that good stuff. And then afterwards, I'll be right back to finish up the look. So here's them at right now after doing that off camera, and now we're gonna go in with one of the pressed powder blushes. I'm not too sure which one I wanna go in with, but this kind of like pinky packaged one is called Flower Power, and this one is the one I'm kind of leaning towards, because it's this really pretty like mauve pink shade. So I wanna see how it swatches, and in the pan, it definitely looks like a matte blush. Oh yeah, like that is my kind of color. And also it seems like this one does have a little bit more of that medium buildable formula. See if it builds up. Yep. So this is like the normal pressed powder blushes. So the other blush I launched with this collection is this kind of like peachy pink. It is called Flower Tender. And this one is like a pink, but with almost like a peachy undertone to it. It leans a little bit more on the warm side compared to the other one. And again, this one looks like a matte blush in the pan. And then I'm just going to swatch it right next to the other one. This one is definitely a lot more like a warm tone pink, and I'm just going to do a second layer. And then here's what they look like up close next to each other. So the one I'm going to go in with is the more like mauve pink one, because I just like a good mauve blush. And I'm just going to take it on this angled brush from Luxie. This is a 504. And I'm just going to apply it right on top of my cheekbones, and then kind of like round it around my eye just a little bit. Oh yeah, this is definitely a very like medium type of blush. If you guys play Animal Crossing, what flower do you have on your island? Personally for me, I have tulips, and I don't know about you guys, but I let my tulips get a little bit too crazy on the back of my island. And let me just say, I have a tulip infestation. Like, it takes me over an hour to clean them all up, and then I forget about them, and then they become a problem again. And I'm just going to go in with a second layer though, Because I do want like a little bit more of a blushy vibe today. I really love this color with that eyeshadow. Like they pair just absolutely beautiful together. And it is definitely a very buildable blush too. So if you want, you can do more natural looks with it, and you can also build it up and get a little bit more pigmentation out of it. So let's get rid of this like crusty lip situation that I have going on, because it is not cute and it does not fit in the vibe. But with this collection, we got 3 little just a tint mini duos. So we got mini little lip crayons in here, and I don't know about you guys, but these are actually one of my favorite products from Colourpop because they're just so convenient and super easy. They're one of those things you can just throw in your bag and it's ready for on the go, and if you want like a little something something on your lips, you just pop it on. And also the colors that Colourpop has are really nice and like really good for every day, but I do want to do some swatches of these because I'm not 100% sure as to which one I want to go in with. So the first set that we have is this little peachy orange one. It is called Fruit Roots, and also the packaging, it is so stinking cute. I love the green with the little leaves. I think it's just really cute and fits the vibe of the collection. But the first shade that we have is this kind of like darker one out of the two, and this one's also a little bit more of a brighter pink. And let's see if I can get it open. Smell test. Okay, that smells like creamsicles. And let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah, she's a little bit on the brighter side. But again, it's more of a sheer everyday lip kind of color. And then the other one that we have in this collection is called Peach Surprise, and it's kind of like a nudie everyday type of pink. Put it right underneath. Ooh, I'm really liking that one. Like that is my kind of everyday shade. And then the other set that we have has apples and cherries on it for the fruits, and this one is called Fruit Basket. And this mini set has more of those like brighter reddish pink type of shades. So the first shade that we have is this kind of like berry color. It is called Juicy Apple. I'm going to chunk it maybe down just a little bit. Oh yeah. I mean, like, it's not like super crazy bright, but it's definitely more bright than the other colors out of this collection. It's like a true berry in my opinion. And then the other one that we have looks like it's going to be a little bit more on the red side. And this one is called Cherry Cherry. And also this one smells like cherries. Let's see if this other one smells like it. I thought that they all smelled the same, but this one has more of like a berry scent to it. No, it smells like apples. I don't know why I was thinking berry, but it smells like complete apples. It smells actually really good too. It doesn't have like that fake apple scent to it. And then I'm just going to put this one right underneath. Oh yeah, she is definitely a kind of like sheer red type of shade. Now I'm curious, does the peach one smell like peaches and I just didn't realize it? I have a really bad sense of smell. Yep, it does smell like peaches. Oh, that smells so good. It smells like peach rings if you ever had that candy before. And then the last set that we have is the green one, and this one has a pear and a palm tree on it, and this one is called Pick of the Bunch. So the first one we have out of this little set is called Coconut Juice, and this is like the deeper, more like brownish shade out of all of the ones. And I'm assuming it's going to smell like coconuts. Yep, it definitely smells like coconuts. But it's not like an overwhelming coconut either. Ooh, that is so pretty. Like if you like a good brown kind of vibe, you're gonna love that one. And then the other one that we have is called Incomparable, and this one's kind of like a warm tone nudie kind of color. And this one definitely smells like pears. Yep. But it's almost like a sweeter pear. I'm just gonna put it right underneath. Ooh, I really like that one too. Like this one is definitely like an everyday type of shade for me. So here's what they look like all up close next to each other. So you can go in with the Just a Tint alone by itself, but personally I do like a good lip liner, so I'm just going to go in with this one from Colourpop. It's kind of like a true nude color, and it is called Little One. Again, if you've never tried out Colourpop lip liners before, they are so bomb. Extremely easy to apply, super pigmented, and also have just like the right amount of creaminess. Like not too creamy where they get everywhere, but they also do not feel dry and chunky. So I'm just going to go with Incomparable out of the green little set. This color though is just absolutely gorgeous, but if you're somebody that doesn't like gloss at all and you want something that's really balmy and pretty on top of like lip liner or like a matte lipstick, these are really good for that, as well as just for like an everyday lip kind of color. So now we're going to start working on the lower lash line, and I'm just going to go in with that Water Landing shade, that really dark matte on this ES6 brush from Profusion. And I'm just going to run it right underneath my lower lash line, doing back and forth motions. I'm also gonna do a second layer just to kind of like deepen it up a little bit too. So for the inner corner highlight, you could go in with something out of the eyeshadow palette, but honestly, I really want to go in with the Super Shock Shadow out of the collection, and this one is called Balloon Pop, and it's an ultra glitter formula. And I'm not too sure if this is going to be like too dark for my inner corner or what's going to happen, but you know what, we're going to try it out anyways because, I mean, like, why not? And I'm just taking it on this Sigma E30 little pencil brush dampened. Ooh, you know, that's actually really cute. I was expecting it to apply way darker. It's kind of like a little taupe little moment with almost like a hint of pink to it. It's really cute. But I was expecting it to apply a little bit more brown than gray. So I'm just going to go in with a second layer. Yeah, you can kind of see it's like a grayish pink, but it has just like the tiniest amount of brown to it. It's a really fun color. I feel like it's one of those shades, depending on the eye look that you pair it with, it'll look completely different. But you see what I mean though? Like, she is super, super blinding. So the last product out of this collection, and the one that we are not going to be using today, is this Glitterly Obsessed in Billionaire, and this is like a true gold chunky shimmer. I mean, like, when I think of like a bougie glitter, this is what I think of, but let's see how it swatches. I'm just gonna take like the tiniest amount on my finger. Ooh, she's so pretty and reflective. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so fun in a look that I have coming up. So here's what it looks like up close and personal, and as you can see, it's super chunky and reflective, and it just looks absolutely stunning. So here's the finished look using this portion of the collection, and I don't know about you guys, but I think it turned out so fun. I love the whole like eyeshadow vibe that we have going on with this lip. Like, they literally pair beautifully together. So let's go over all of the nitty-gritty details on everything that we used today, and of course let's start with the eyeshadow palette called Nook Ink. And this palette to me is just so unique and fun. Like, I just love the color story and the overall vibe of it, because again, like, these types of colors you just don't really see all that much. As for this deeper matte shade right here called Water Landing, this one is so intense. Like, it's one of those shades, again, you do not have to do 2 layers if you don't want to, but if you are a beginner, you might struggle blending it out just because it is so rich in pigment. And when I was personally applying it and not being careful how I was applying it, it did give me some harsh lines. Again, I was able to diffuse them and get them where I wanted it to be. It just took me a little bit of time to do so. So if you're a beginner, you might struggle a little bit with that shade, but again, it is definitely worth it for the pigmentation that it has. As for the shade right above it, the matte with the shimmer in it, I actually thought this was a satin right away, otherwise I would have used it as a transition shade today. But this shade called Made in this shade is very, very pigmented. Again, you do not have to do 2 layers if you don't want to, and it also blends out like butter. As for the shimmer shade called Yes Yes, this one is one of those extremely blinding and super extra shimmers. It has a lot of shine and a lot of sparkle to it, so if you like shimmers that have a lot of pizzazz to them, you're going to absolutely love how this one looks on the eyes. And lastly, the pressed glitter in the palette called CEO is one of my favorite pressed glitters Colourpop has ever done. Like, it's just a really unique shade that you don't see all that much, because it's kind of like this icy minty shade that has almost like a little hint of blue to it. It's just a really cool color. And if you've never tried out Colourpop's pressed glitters before, they are by far my favorite formula. They are not scratchy on the eyes, they do not flake throughout the day, and they're also just really easy to apply. As for the blush that we used in Flower Power, it's a really pretty bright pink that has like almost like a mauvey purple undertone to it. It's just a really fun color, and it's also a little bit on the brighter side too, so I can see this one being perfect for springtime too. Colourpop's pressed powder blushes though are by far one of my favorite products from them, and if you're like me and you love a good blush, they have a really nice formula. And what I like about this one though too is that it has a medium buildable formula, so you can do more like blushy looks with it if you really pack it on, or you can do more natural looks too if you just kind of like lightly swipe it on the cheeks. As for the Just a Tint that we used today in the shade Incomparable, I love the color and the consistency of it. It's a very kind of like warm tone nudie type of color, so it can go with a lot of different eye looks. And honestly, the Just a Tint are one of the most underrated products from Colourpop because they're just so easy and convenient. They're one of those lip products that you can throw in your bag and you can apply anywhere at any time because they're just so balmy and creamy, but at the same time they have just like this nice sheer tint of color to them. And lastly, the Super Shock Shadow that we used today in Balloon Pop is so amazing. Like, I really love the formula of it. Like, it's one of those like extremely glittery Super Shock shadows, and I also like the color of it too. At first when I saw it, I was like, this is gonna be a little bit more on the neutral side, and you guys know I'm not like huge into neutrals, but let me tell you, the color of this looks so good when applied. because it's kind of like one of those shades, depending on the eye look that you pair next to it, it's going to look completely different. So for me, having these blues and kind of like emerald greens on the eye, it almost applies a little bit more of like a grayish pink, whereas when I swatch it, I'll show you guys, it looks more kind of like gold in a way. I don't know, I think it's just a really fun color, and I can see it pairing really well with any of the eyeshadow palettes. So when it comes down to it, would I recommend the products that we use today? And honestly, if you're like me and you love Animal Crossing, I think you're going to be really happy with them overall. Again, they're really fun and they definitely fit that Animal Crossing kind of vibe. But I will say, if you are a true beginner, you will probably struggle a little bit with this Nook Ink palette, especially that deeper matte shade. The other three shades in here are very easy to work with, but that deeper one does have a little bit of a tendency to be tricky to blend out. So just keep that in mind if you are a true beginner or if you're not used to using darker matte shades. But yeah, so in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this collection and if you're going to be picking up any of the products from it, and also let me know what eyeshadow palette I should use next. But as always though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on my Instagram page or my TikTok, it is at Breyonna as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.